So I've debated about what to say, if anything, about the recent terrorist attacks and ensuing war that's taking place in the Middle East. To say that is heartbreaking doesn't even begin to describe the evil that has taken place that we've witnessed. And part of me naturally wants to know more, to read the headlines and articles and watch the interviews, and at times even see some of the graphic videos displayed, just so that I have a full extent of what has taken place, in part so that I can pray for them. That when I know more about what's going on, that I could be more explicit in my prayers. And part of it is simply so that I can be a good global citizen, so that if I'm going to speak into issues, I know what's taking place. And yet I feel this tension as well, that the more I expose myself to that my emotional tank becomes depleted. And so as a therapist, while part of me wants to know more, I also realize I don't necessarily have that luxury. That I have to protect my emotional currency, as it were. And other professions have to do this as well in different ways. And so for someone who's in a profession that is very physically demanding or mentally demanding, then it's probably not wise for them to stay out partying the night before. That while other people may be able to do that, they have to give up that luxury. They have to give up that privilege so that they can be physically and mentally ready for their jobs the next day. And the same is going to be true for us as counselors, as therapists, that part of our job is to offer our emotional selves, offer our emotional currency. And so if we spend all of our emotional currency dealing with global matters, as important as they might be, then we don't have anything left to serve our clients, those people that God has explicitly given to us. And so there's times where I have to find myself filtering what I expose myself to. Not because it doesn't matter, not because I don't care, not because I don't want to know and I want to respond to those situations. I have to filter because those are not the clients that God has called me to serve. That later this afternoon, tomorrow morning, there's going to be clients sitting in front of me, and I have to be emotionally prepared for them. And so what do I need to do so that I can serve the people that God has given me? And reading this next article on the latest evil internationally, does it prepare my heart and soul to serve the client in front of me? And in many ways, it takes me out. It drains me. It depletes my emotional energy. And so often when therapists are experiencing burnout or compassion fatigue, it's because we've overextended ourselves to many good things, but still overextended ourselves where we don't have the emotional bandwidth that is still needed to serve the client in front of us. Some of us may be called to speak into those community, social, global issues. But in some ways, this all gets back to still who is our client. And so if my client is on a social, community, global level, and my job is to speak into those things, then I manage my emotional energy, my emotional currency accordingly. But if my client is this individual dealing with personal, relational, sexual, spiritual stuff, then I need to steward my emotional energy so that I can serve them. And spending it on global matters, again, doesn't allow me to serve this client right in front of me. And so this is not putting our heads in the sand. This is not being naive. This is not denying the evil that's taking place in the world. But it is trying to be wise stewards of what God has entrusted to us. And part of being a wise steward is knowing who our people are, knowing the clients that God has given us, and what do we need to do to prepare to serve them, to prepare to love them well. Being able to filter what we expose ourselves to frees our hearts, frees our souls to allow us to keep showing up and doing the work that God has given us to do. And if we don't filter, if we allow ourselves to be burdened with every evil atrocity that's experienced in the world, then in some ways, evil does win because it takes us out. It takes us out from doing the good that God has uniquely called us to do. And so part of how we fight against evil, part of how we contend against the evil in the world is by caring for our own hearts and soul. Filtering on those things so that we can continue to advance the good that God has given us to do. And so I pray that you are wise stewards of your hearts and souls during these evil days. Your wholehearted presence is needed to bring more life and goodness into the world. Take care.